Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to this concert. My name is Johan.
My name's Yu-Wei, and I'm from Taiwan.
And I'm from Sweden. And we are the Flauguissimo duo. And as you can see, maybe if it fits into the camera, we have some quiet, unusual instruments. This is a huge lute-like instrument called a theorbo. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm playing here. This wooden flute is we call baroque flute nowadays. So this is a replica of a flute made in 18th century, so 1750.
So, as you might imagine, with these instruments we are going to play some early music, meaning music from the baroque period in this case, which is right now about the first half of the 18th century in this program. Although of course the baroque period was quite long, it's like 150 years almost.
Yeah, exactly. The first composer we're going to play is a Swedish composer, even though we're playing now here in London. And we're very, very happy for Live Music Now to have us here today, sponsored by
London North Eastern Railway. So,
exactly.
thank you.
Please do leave the comments to tell us where you are watching from. We'll be so happy to see them. If you have any question about the music, about the instrument, please leave in the comment. We will have a look in the middle and try to answer them. So the first piece we're going to play is the Sonata in G major for flute and continuo by Roman.
And Roman was a Swedish baroque composer who actually spent quite a bit of time in London in the early 18th century. So we are going to play 3 movements from one of his sonatas. Thank you. So yes, that was music by Roman. If you happen to be familiar with the music of Handel, for instance, who was also a foreign composer working in London, you might feel that there are some similarities because actually Roman worked in Handel's orchestra and was very inspired by Handel's music and learned a lot from his skill. So it has that sort of very melodic, almost operatic joy and lightness and virtuosity, which makes it quite fun to play also, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Roman came to London to work for Handel as a kind of a study. He got his royal warrant and like a scholarship to come, and he plays oboe and violin in Handel's orchestra together with lots of other kind of continental musicians at the time. Very, very interesting environment. So to the extent he didn't want to go back anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
We are now going to make a little move from what one might say was quite a modern musical scene in London at the time, with lots of different influences, to the slightly more old-fashioned and, should we say, almost restrained environment of Versailles, the French court, where we of course at this time had a huge and splendid musical scene with many composers that wrote, instrumental music or operatic music. We are going to play what is in a way a harpsichord piece, isn't it?
Yeah, it was written for harpsichord originally, but as a lot of music that time, that they were all kind of free to be arranged and dubbed for more instrument, even like orchestra settings. So this one is quite often arranged for, say, flute and continuo, which is bass instrument played with just the figures and then improvise what is as it goes along.
So it's a little bit almost like in some popular music or in jazz, where you have like a set of chords, and I then have a bass line instead, and I then sort of a mixture of improvise and of course preparing how to put the chords on top of that line. Just like you, a bit like a singer, sometimes play what's there and sometimes you ornament and improvise on what we have.
Exactly. So I think Baroque music at the time is very much not what people think about today. It's very, very free, and it's in performers. I expect it actually show their personality through their playing and alter and ornaments adorn the melody as they go along. So now the next two pieces we're going to play is the Rossignol, so the Nightingale.
The Nightingale of
in
Love.
Love, and the Triumph Nightingale, and then we'll come back to the Nightingale in Love again.
Let me guess. Thank you. That was a very nightingale sound, wasn't it, when you did your drum, drum?
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that back in time, all the composers still like try to use the instrument to imitate all the sounds in the nature, way before, say, the Pastoral Symphony by Beethoven.
Yes, and of course the instruments back in this time are all a little bit more extreme than we might, well, as you can see, than we might sometimes see today, because the trend has been in the way we make instruments to kind of make them, should we say, more and more similar, because we all want to make them louder and stronger and so on. But here the instruments are very, very contrasting, and the wooden flute really sounds like a bird, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really like it anyway.
I will say a few words about my instrument, but maybe we should have a look at the comments. If someone has, in case someone has written a comment, and we are actually able to see it through our technology, we will have a look.
So, let's go to the...
Actually, in the meantime, I will try to tune my bass notes, because as you might be able to see, these really low notes I only pluck as open strings with one hand, and that means that when we change key, or if we change key too far away, as it were, I will need to tune, and then I need to stand up in order to reach. So I will do that now for the next piece while we look for the comments.
I think it's alright.
And then we can see it.
Mm.
So then we do now. So you might wonder why they would come up with this idea and make an instrument that looks like this. And the reason really has to do with the way they wanted to find a lute-like instrument, which is sort of intimate and not too loud, but that could accompany the voice a little bit more richly in the lower register than the lutes could at the time. And this is really something that happens in Italy, in around Florence, in the late 16th century. So it's actually quite a bit before the time we are playing now. But these instruments then kept traveling across Europe and to England, and often they became a little bit changed wherever they went. So you can see this type of big lutes all the way towards the end of the 18th century, but then sometimes some are a bit smaller, some are a bit bigger, and they have very many different tunings, because of course people would keep experimenting and try to figure out, you know, how many strings they needed for that type of music and so on. We actually have on this one 14 strings, and they are quite low, so this is the sort of tuning that would have been quite common at the beginning of the theorbo's life.
Oh, now I see lots of comments.
Oh, now we can see comments. We couldn't see them earlier.
So it's from Somerset House, and oh wow, New York.
Wow, America.
Yeah, Switzerland.
Wow, it's an
amazing.
international audience.
Yay.
How exciting. Luckily there is an international program, because we are going to stay in France, and I'm going to play just, how wonderful.
Yeah.
Comments always makes us happy. I'm going to play a short piece by Lully, who was the first really big name of French opera. Now, funnily enough, he was an Italian, which was of course very common at this time, that Italians traveled north and established themselves as very important composers in other countries, and then people from those countries, like Handel, you know, then came to England or to Sweden and to places even further away from Italy, because Italy is often where it started. Now this is a piece from an opera of his, arranged by Debussy for the theorbo, and Debussy, he was a lute and theorbo player at the court of Louis XIV. So it's a quite quite stately and intimate sound world here of the theorbo. Then after that we might go straight to a song that you might recognize. Let's stay tuned. Thank you. The last piece was, of course, Greensleeves. And we think, or we thought for a long time, that it was actually written by Henry VIII himself. And now, of course, we don't think so. I'm not quite sure for what reason we don't think so, because I kind of like the idea that it was written by Henry VIII. Although, because of course we do know that he did write music, and we know some pieces that are actually quite common that he did actually write. But this one,
not this one.
this one might not have been the one. So what are we doing now?
So we're going to continue this folky theme but back to the 18th century. So we're going to play two Scottish folk songs from a book published in 1742, collected actually by Italian composer Francesco Barsanti. That he's Italian recorder player, and yeah, he came to also London same time as Handel. Sometimes Borroman and Geminiani. They worked together in Handel's orchestra. But then afterwards he and Geminiani both kind of obsessed with Scottish folk tune. He also went up all the way to Scotland to work, and he collected a whole book of the old Scotch tunes, it's called.
So this is a very different type of style from the French music we had earlier. This is a very popular music type of flavor. Let me just tune maybe 2 strings this time, and I'll be... That one goes up, and this one goes up. And that should be very good. Did we say what they're called?
No.
The Lass of Petys Mill and the Burghs of Invermay.
Make me happy.
Yeah, they are very wonderful. So this has been a little bit of a, should we say, a different type of musical flavor from different parts of the Baroque world. We are now towards the end, coming back again to
your countryman?
Yes, to Roman, and we're going to play a few more movements from his same sonata. I'm just going to bring back the string again to this piece.
Yeah, we have
more
audience. Yeah,
Oh,
from
look.
America.
Oh, they are listening
New
from-
Jersey.
Oh, wonderful.
Thank you. Yay.
Oh, nice. You will be pleased to know that Live Music Now has more of these concerts. Next Wednesday at 2 p.m. UK time, there will be folk musician Samuel Robinson. And if you have missed this concert, well, which you probably haven't because you're listening right now, but if you have missed previous concerts, then you could go to the Live Music Now Facebook page or website, where you could actually see concerts from other musicians earlier weeks. So wonderful thing to be part of. Thanks again, Live Music Now, and you, audience.
Exactly.
One can never be too careful checking that I have the right bass notes,
You don't
because
know.
it always happens sometimes that I have the wrong one. So yeah, that was the last movement from this Romance sonata, although actually in real life it's the second movement because we have sort of rearranged them slightly since we spread them out through the concert. Yes, thank you for sharing this wonderful time with us.
Let's check the
Let's just check the
comments last time. Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
beautifully. Everyone writes so nice.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really, really nice to see the comments and emojis and everything. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like we managed to plan this very well on time, which is wonderful.
So, if you have any question or about the music or the instrument or about us, please don't hesitate to contact us, or now or afterwards. We are very, very happy to answer, if we can, anything you ask about. Yeah, thank you very much to be here with us today.
Yes, thank you. Wonderful audience and live music now. So bye bye from London.